It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, Tuesday edition, 1025, 1063. The game. Hope you're having a fantastic, as Joe likes to say, start to your day. We're live today, Bridgestone Arena. Predators in action tonight against the Seattle Kraken for their third game of the year. Big Joe is getting checked in with security. You know, they got to give him the pat down, all those things, and then he will be here. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, is on the ones and twos at the Game Nashville studios. What's up, Nick? How are you?
I'm doing well. Joe's got to stop smuggling those Uncrustables into the stadium.
I
You can't do
know,
that.
something like that, right?
Can't do that stuff. But delicious. Delicious if toasted.
Yes, 100%. For sure. So we're live today, Bridgestone Arena, as the Predators look for their first win of the season. Hal Gill going to join us at 9:30. We'll kind of get his thoughts on the season to this point, the very early season. Kevin Ingram going to join us at 10:30. Obviously, the sideline reporter for the Commodores and also basketball play-by-play announcer. Get his thoughts on everything that's been happening with the Vanderbilt Commodores. Obviously, it's been a good couple of weeks for them. So looking forward to discussing that with Kevin. But, you know, it's funny. I always enjoy my ride in listening to, you know, Robbie and Rexroad, as all of you do as well. And Joe's trade, Joe's trade proposal, I thought was very interesting. I don't know the genesis of that, but you know, to satisfy Vol Nation, I guess, to get Hendon Hooker here. It's just this is where we're at with the Titans. It's just it's gotten to that point where it's like, okay, this isn't working. They're terrible. I went on a show in Kansas City yesterday. My friends were like, "What'd you say in Kansas City?" I was like, "I basically said they sucked." I mean, that's kind of where they're at. I didn't say it like that, but they're not very good. That's just the brass tacks of it all. And the true question is, how do you get to that point where they are? And that would be finding the quarterback. They don't have the quarterback. Will Levis is not the quarterback, and I don't believe he's going to be. Now, can you give me some examples of guys that we thought we were ready to write off and, you know, thought that they're nothing and then they turn out to be something? Well, one of them played last night in Josh Allen. I don't think that Will Levis is Josh Allen. I don't think he's going to have that drastic turnaround like we saw. Because the thing is, even with Josh Allen, you saw flashes. My biggest problem with Will Levis is his decision making. You know, he just can't make the right read. And, you know, when I look and I see guys wide open and he doesn't even look in their direction, that's when I got a problem. And I think all of you kind of have that same problem as well. Big Joe has made his way through security and joins us now.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Oh, you know, I knew we'd be downtown at Bridgestone today. So I left the house way early, come down to my credential, and I'm cruising down, you know, Lebanon Road turns into First Avenue. And then I see a car stop. I'm like, what's this car stop? And then you see the railroad crossing go down, and you see a train. Looks like it's running the 40-yard dash in 18 seconds. I mean, that thing is slower than me. And I'm like, all right, it's going to pass soon. And I look around the corner, and it's got like 40 cars attached. I'm sure they're still stuck there. So I had to leave, turn around, get on the interstate, and join all of my brothers and sisters on 40 coming into town. And that's probably the fifth level of hell. And so I was able to find my way here after running a few red lights and yelling at some people walking across the street. I'm here. So it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. And you just got like this demented smile on your face.
Oh yeah, because I'm like Homer when he was paid not to cuss.
Oh yeah.
You know, he just kind of just even things out, and finally he hit a breaking point, and that'll be me this afternoon before the middle game. So I'm good right now.
Yeah, and middle does play tonight.
They do.
That'll be fun.
National TV game, and we have it on Totally Hits 93.3 starting at 6:30.
I wasn't ready to do that yet, so I don't.
But
know.
I was
5:30.
5:30
with the pregame. So
me bad.
Looking forward to that, and then Predators here tonight against the Kraken.
What's the doctor in The Simpsons? He's the Spanish guy that always
Dr. Nick.
Dr. Nick, yeah. I'm just going to start.
Hi, everybody.
He's always wrong in everything that he does.
You know, as much as we love this, you know, we obviously called him Dr. Crane,
Yeah.
but he could be Dr. Nick.
No, he's got more sense than Dr. Nick.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank
More
you.
sense.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
He's always wrong on everything. So That's good. That's what we'll be today. Man.
Yeah. So, did you hear Rex Rhodes' trade proposal?
No.
Sending Harold Landry to the Detroit Lions. There's some picks in there. Get some picks back, and Hendon Hooker. It was Harold Landry, Mason Rudolph, and you get some picks plus Hendon Hooker coming back. I mean, look. I think. Do I think Hendon Hooker? Well, here's the question. Here's a question we can ask.
All
we
right.
can ask this right now.
we asking this too.
Who has a better NFL career, Will Levis or Hendon Hooker?
Will Levis.
I think it's going to be Hendon Hooker.
Who has a better? Who's had?
Who will have?
Will Levis is starting. Hendon Hooker's not.
Well, right, but I think they're doing Hendon Hooker the right way. They're letting him sit. You know, he had an injury. He had to get through that. I mean, we've seen, and Harold Landry's a prime example of this, of guys that blow out their ACL. It takes well over a year to kind of get back to normal.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't think
you lose that salary.
I don't think Goff is going anywhere anytime soon.
No, he's not.
So I don't know. Now, I wouldn't necessarily make that trade because here's the other thing.
Why not?
And this goes back to, you know, something we kind of talked about yesterday. Everybody that wants to go into blow it up mode, you know, that's fine. But if you're not going to figure the quarterback out, what's the point of blowing it up?
Well, that's short-term, temporary. You go in and kind of get some assets and then
do what?
I mean, you could do other things while you're trying to figure out your quarterback.
Sure.
Yeah, you have to.
But, I mean, every year we're talking about pass rush, and you're going to trade away your one pass rusher.
Who's on a 1-4 team that's not getting better.
Okay.
So go out and get a few
look,
assets.
we can keep going. That's the whole problem with the Tennessee Titans.
Rex Rhodes already wrecked the morning for a lot of people because of this trade.
That's the whole problem for the Tennessee Titans. Is it's this constant circle, this constant back and forth of blow it up. Okay, spend all this money in the offseason. Great. Oh, we don't have a quarterback. Go find the quarterback. Yay. You know, like and that's why they sit in purgatory where they are now.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with this football team, but you don't have to solely concentrate on the quarterback job to not, okay, we're going to worry about quarterback. Everything else we're going to put on hold. No, you can do 8 things at once. Hell, we multitask
Right, but
every day.
if you put a competent quarterback, we talked about it yesterday, and a majority of the people said if Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback for this team, they'd be at least 3-2, probably 4-1.
Okay.
So under that logic, if you put a competent quarterback on this team right now, even knowing you still got holes on the offensive line, you still got some holes on defense, you know, you only have one true pass rusher, like all that's valid. But if we're under the belief, whether it's true or not, we'll never know. But if we're under the belief that this team would have a better record with a better quarterback, then why not just try and find the quarterback?
Okay. Meanwhile, you can make trades.
Sure, but if you're going to get worse by giving up some of these pieces,
So let me ask
then
you
you're
this.
basically just starting over again.
You trade Harold Landry, do you give up your Super Bowl hopes?
No, you don't have any, so
All right. How's the locker room react? You trade Harold Landry.
they're not going to like it.
They'll
I
be
don't
like, hey, good for him. He's going to a team that's competing.
I don't know. Did they feel that way when they traded Kevin Byard last year? I kind of feel like that
about
wasn't
a year ago.
I don't think that was a popular move.
I think they knew. I think it had been talked about for so long, going back to March of that year when he told them to take a pay cut. I think they knew that was going to happen. So when it did happen, it's like, well, it finally happened. For me, I'm like, hey, man, Harold, you know, it's like Derrick Henry. Good
Yeah.
for you, Derrick Henry.
Right.
Good for you. Go get a Super Bowl. We love you. We will root for you all the way to Super Bowl. Go. Meanwhile, we got to worry about our own team. You can root for another guy if you're a player to go do well. It's okay to do that.
Sure.
It's more than whatever you want. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, good. But then you get Hendon Hooker back. Then what? Will Levis is going to be, you know, here we
have
go.
a competition, I guess.
Situation. What if Hendon Hooker is not good?
Then you've screwed it up again.
Yeah. So
Basically.
I don't. So who knows? I mean, the problem is there's so many questions with this football team. It's not fun anymore.
Right.
It's not fun. It's like, you know, coming here like, oh, we got to talk Will Levis again today. Oh, we got to talk. It's no fun anymore. Hell, I feel bad for Titans fans who buy season tickets and they have rooms dedicated to the Titans. That's all. I mean, I feel bad for you. I wish I had 2% of your passion you had for this football team. Because I'm telling you, man, outside looking in, it's bad.
You know, it's
really bad.
What's funny too is I had somebody say to me, like, I remember those teams, the Whisenhunt era, right? Those teams were bad. They were terrible.
They were terrible.
This team, while it's not good, actually does have some talent on it. It just hasn't been used.
Oh, I totally agree. That 14, the 14-15 team was awful. Was
Right.
just awful.
And they didn't really have a ton of talent.
No, the 04 team with the injuries, and they knew guys were hitting the wall. Eddie George had left. I mean, there was not a lot of promise there. Derek was leaving the next year to go to the Ravens. There was not a lot of hope there. This team, I don't see any hope, man.
Yeah.
I really don't. And so they're 1-4, and you got to go and face the Bills, who are now feeling good after the win last night. Then you got to go to the Lions in 2 weeks. I mean, you sit there 1-6 when you come back. I mean, it's over now. I think. But you still got to fight.
And the other thing too is, when you mention like, oh, go find a veteran quarterback. I don't know who's going to be available now. What we've seen the last few years is, we didn't think anybody would be available, and then all of a sudden, one pops up.
Yeah.
So that could happen. And the one that I keep going back to is Kirk Cousins, because they've drafted his replacement already. So, that's a possibility. But I don't know. This is just, again, you're stuck in neutral. That's what this is. This team is stuck in neutral, can't go anywhere.
Right.
And it's like they can't go backwards or forwards. And so that's where the frustration sets in. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. What do you think? You're kind of a day removed. You've had a little time to relax and think about it. What's kind of your thoughts with the Tennessee Titans? We'll get to your calls and your texts. Hal Gill at the bottom of the hour. It's Chasing Big Joe here on a Tuesday. Bridgestone Arena, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. We're at Bridgestone Arena. Dr. Crane is at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. And there is some buzz in the Big Apple. It looks like it is official. Davante Adams is headed to the New York Jets and will be reunited with Aaron Rodgers. Watched that game last night. He could use some help, but I don't know what Davante Adams is necessarily going to bring at this point. I think Aaron Rodgers is showing that he's just not the same Aaron Rodgers anymore.
He's almost 40 and he doesn't care. So there's your reasoning there. So now this trade, so instead of the Jets going 6-11, they go 7-10, and the Jets assume all Davante Adams guaranteed money. Beautiful, beautiful trade for the Jets. Just let's dig more holes and let players run the team. The more players run your football team, the worse your football team becomes. And the Jets are now example 1A, Your Honor.
Sure. I think the NFL should just force Woody Johnson out.
He's got all that money.
I know, I'm kidding.
Like,
Would that just be funny? Like if there was what is it they do in the EPL regulation?
Relegation?
Relegation. Thank you. You know, if they just like all of a sudden Amy Adams Strunk and Woody Johnson and Haslam, they all get calls one day like, hey, we're kicking you out.
we're good. Well, hell, it took them forever to kick out Daniel Snyder.
Right.
I talked to a guy not long ago, a big Redskins Commanders fan from 40 years ago. He's like, you only knew 20% of what Snyder did. And I was like, good Lord. He goes, it took forever to kick him out of the league. So, no, I mean, they're not going to do that. And the Jets now, you've got this guy who complained about being in Vegas. He was hurt, air quotes, and now he goes to your team. Just, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, if I'm a Jet fan, that's almost worse than a Titans fan. It's crazy.
Well, and I'm curious too of what, are the Jets going to do anything about Hassan Reddick, who they traded for this offseason, and he hasn't done anything because
what does he owe?
I mean,
$6 million?
It's millions at this point. Yeah, and I mean, he wants a new contract. He thought he was getting one, and he didn't. And so he's basically like, "Screw you." And now he's told them that they have his permission to seek a trade. If I'm them, I'm like, "Screw you, man!" Like,
well, he went out and got Drew Rosenhaus. You know, my favorite holdout has always been, and I remember this vividly because he was on my fantasy football team. It was 1993. Emmitt Smith was holding out for the Cowboys, and Jerry was adamant. They just come off winning the Super Bowl in '92. Jerry Jones was adamant they were not going to pay Emmitt Smith. You know what the Cowboys did in their first two games? Lost badly.
And they paid Emmitt Smith.
And they paid Emmitt. And I'm not telling you pay this Reddick guy. I'm not saying that. It just makes me laugh because it's not working for him. But for Emmitt Smith, it was like, all right, I'll just sit out. Your team goes 0-2. You're not going to get the back-to-back. Emmitt Smith doesn't play in '93. Cowboys do not win back-to-back Super Bowls. So it worked out good for Emmitt Smith because he deserved that. Emmitt Smith deserved that. This guy, not so much.
No. So but I mean, at this point, can the Jets turn it around? Like they were in the same boat as the Titans. Now
what boat is that, pal?
The one that's sinking, the one that's going the wrong way, the one that's going iceberg dead ahead.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, that's kind of where they're at.
Well, let me ask you this:
they're 2-4.
When was the last Titans holdout? Because Floyd and Jeff were good about getting guys in there. Pac-Man held out,
Pac-Man held out
because he was a bozo. Kenny Holmes in '97 held out for 3 or 4 days.
Well, Simmons kind of held in.
Okay, you're still, but I'm like away.
He was there
since they moved here. '97 was Kenny Holmes. '98 was Dyson. He was here. '99 Curse was here. 2000 they did not. Oh, Bullock was here. 01 they had a draft in the second round. They took Andre Dyson's brother or Kevin Dyson's brother. 02 did Albert hold out? In 02? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think you may have.
I don't remember. I do remember when
there was a little hold up with Mariota because of the offset language or something.
Like that. Yeah, but it wasn't like
surfing.
But it wasn't like I'm out for 2 weeks. The Haynesworth thing always made me laugh because this was unconfirmed, but it was confirmed second party that when Fisher and Floyd went to inquire on Albert Haynesworth, Philip Fulmer said, "Oh, he's great. You better draft his mama too." because he was 20 years old.
Right.
So, when Albert comes here in 2002, remember, oh, you were too young. The practice where he disappears, he comes back with a pole. He's going to beat one of the teammates up. He has a flagpole.
Yeah.
And he comes back on the practice field. I remember Fisher saying, we love the attitude. We don't like we don't like that.
Right.
There's other ways to do that and plan that out. So that was kind of a,
How did he say that?
oh, we love it, man. And then,
Love the attitude.
and then I used to do Floyd's laugh. Out of respect, can I do his laugh?
Yeah.
So Floyd like,
That's actually pretty good.
So I did
Pretty
it for,
good for Floyd.
I did it for him one time and he laughed. He's like, that's really good. I was like,
Yeah.
thank you. So, but there hadn't been a problem with the Titans. Hadn't been a problem here for us. I guess Pac-Man in 05 was the last one.
I feel like we're missing one.
Well, let's go. 07 Griffin held out for 1 or 2 days. But I'm saying one that held out that really impacted the team.
yeah.
Chris Johnson in 08 didn't do. 09 was Kenny Britt. 10 was Derek Morgan. 11 Locker. 12 Kendall Wright. 13 was Chance Warmack. 14 was Lawan. He was here. 15 Mariota. 16 that good old Jack Conklin, backed up by Kevin Dodd. And then on and on. Then I don't think anybody held out after that. So I think the Titans have been really kind of good. Kudos to the general managers, Floyd, Rustin Webster, Mike Reinfeld, and I give Rand credit too, and Robinson.
Yeah.
Those guys are always in camp.
Right. Yeah. They're going to make sure it doesn't get to that point. And so I think from that aspect, the Titans have been pretty lucky. Byron says that's a great Floyd, sir.
I'm hesitant to do it because he was. I didn't get to work with him like you guys did, but when I spent time with him, he's like McLean for me. I wanted to get inside his head and just give me everything you've gotten from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and everything. Let me soak up all this football knowledge because I am a huge 70s, 80s, and 90s NFL guy. I just love that era of football, and to talk to a guy who was important in those eras and those decades would have been fascinating. And we did. We had conversations, but nothing deep like you guys did.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. Dylan said, I had no idea Joe had such a great Floyd laugh. Damn.
Now you're going to make me do it again. I can't. I'll do it here and there, but out of respect, I got Chase's blessing, so I was good with
Oh,
that.
I think it's fun. Steven from Hendersonville, day one season ticket member for the Titans. I've mentally checked out on Titans football until hell freezes over. My best friend is a Jets fan because he genuinely thought Flash Gordon was the real starting quarterback for the Jets as a kid. After the Rodgers trade, I was rooting for the Jets to do something. I'm not questioning my intelligence.
Okay, I'm curious.
He just doesn't care. That's the problem.
I'm curious to know what is the most suffering fan base, NFL. I mean, even go back from now, going back 30, 40 years. What is it? I think they're all equal in suffering, right? Jets, you won Super Bowl III, but you haven't sniffed it since Joe Namath guaranteed the victory. I think all fan bases are miserable to a certain aspect. Right now, the Chiefs Kingdom is living the high life. They feel pretty good. I mean, Raiders fans are still loving that team, and they've been awful since 2002. They had one playoff run since then. Steeler fans, Steeler fan cannot be miserable. You have 6 Super Bowls. 49er fan, you cannot be miserable. You're not allowed to be miserable. Cowboys fans, you're not allowed to be miserable. Only misery can go with teams that have been miserable for the most part in their career. It's like Bills fans. I love you, man. To stick with that team, 4 heartbreaks, and been to the brink so many other times. I mean, it's daunting to love a team like that. I don't think I can.
Indeed. Coming up next, we'll shift gears. I'm sorry.
Why do you do the delay game on me? They should have blew the whistle.
No, I just
play clock ran out.
I'm just gonna move on before I say something to get myself in trouble. Coming up next, Hal Gill will join us. We'll talk about the Predators and their matchup against the Seattle Kraken, the first 2 games so far. That's all next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Ace and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game here on this Tuesday. We are live at Bridgestone Arena. Predators back in action tonight. They will take on the Seattle Kraken. Max Hers will have pregame for you at 6. Puck drop just after 7. We say hello now to analyst Hal Gill. He'll be on the TV side with Valley Sports and does road games here on the radio side. Skillsy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Ready for hopefully a win tonight. That would be fun.
So I'm going to give you my quick observation, and I want to see what you think about it. Because you've always taught me that you got to give this like 8 to 10 games to really know what your team is going to be. We've seen 2. We've seen them get a lot of shots on net, but they've only registered 3 goals in 2 games. Okay, everybody's a little concerned about that. When I watch this team, I just see a new team. I see a team that's not quite all on the same page yet, but I feel like that they have enough and they have chemistry. They have the core that's put in place that they will be. You just got to give it a little bit more time. So I'm not ready to panic after 2 games. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they do look a little bit off, but I also think, it's a fine line. You look at a couple posts here or there, you look at a couple missed chances on goals, and then, this easily could be, a 2-0 team. And then we'd be sitting there going, wow, they look awesome. And I'm sure Andrew Burnett would say, we're a little bit off. We got, we got the wins, which is great, but we're a little bit off. Right now, I think you're looking at the losses, trying to find reasons. And sometimes, you overreact and you push the panic button too much. I think you have to let this play out because I don't think they're far off, but I agree with you. They're a little bit off, but that's to be expected. Look around the NHL. There's a lot of teams that are off right now that you wouldn't expect to be off.
Do you think that maybe we thought Steven Stamkos was going to come in here and just light the world on fire too fast and didn't put into account that, hey, this guy played for one team his entire career. He played with a lot of the same people for most of his career. Now I know he's played with Marchessault before, but, that's new. And then whoever, Cole Smith or whatever, I mean, he's playing with different people. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit, give him a minute.
Yeah, I think you certainly have to. And you have to give the players around him a minute, too. He's had different line mates. I've been trying to work with Novak or Sissons or Jankowski, like they've been bouncing it around, trying to figure out Marchessault as well. So look at all his goals. Like let's go back over his career. How many are assisted by Hedman, Point, Kucherov? These guys know exactly where he wants the puck. They know where he's going to be. So he's been dealing with a lot of the same over the years. And now someone has moved his cheese, and it's going to take a second. Now, that being said, he's had some great chances. He's hit the post. He's had some good looks. So I think it's not far off, but it's a little bit of an adjustment. I think, Roman Josi is working up at the point on the power play. They're trying to run through him, and Stamkos and him have to get where they're not just getting the one-timer, but getting the exact perfect one-timer they want on the power play. And so I think that takes a little time. And, training camp was kind of bunk. They played against some AHL teams, and now they're seeing NHL teams, and it takes a little adjusting.
Hal, you mean I have to cancel the parade in June already?
Don't cancel anything, bud. Don't cancel anything. I believe. I think, what the bottom line is, I think these guys believe. I think they realize that there's an urgency to make sure that they get wins. That's part of the job. Is if you don't win, it doesn't matter what you're doing. But you have to be urgent. There's no panic. It's urgency. You go out there, you dig in a little deeper, you focus more on the details. If it's not coming for you, relax. It'll come for you, but you got to work for it.
Hal, what's the last team that went 82-0?
I don't remember that team.
Right? Exactly right.
I wasn't on it because that would have been a heck of a ride.
That would have been. So to talk to the fans, it's going to be okay, right? I mean, you had to talk them off the ledge because they're passionate and they love this hockey team.
Well, what's awesome is that they do care. No one wants fans that go, yeah, I didn't really notice it. Oh, they're playing? Oh, shoot. You want a passionate fan base, and you want them to be excited about something. And we went out, Barry Trotz did a great job of putting this team together. Now they have to go out and produce, and I think the expectations of our fans are far below the expectations in the locker room. And I think if anyone is feeling the heat because they haven't won in 2 games, I'm sure that the players are feeling it way more than the fans' expectations. You know, I think they want it bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You want passionate fans, but they're probably thinking, well, they're 0-2, and the guys, they're doing this and doing that. But I got to admit, you've been in that locker room. I mean, they care. I mean, you're pissed off. You're losing games. You're not happy about it. Good news about hockey is how you go out tonight, you got another game.
You got another game. And you know what? If you win 2 in a row, you're 500. And then you look at 2 losses in the beginning of the season, and who really cares? That was just a little blip, And so I think they got to focus. And I heard Brunette talking earlier on your show. What did he say? Just, I'm worried about 1. And you have a homestand here. You should be able to put up some wins. But right now, you just focus on that 1. Do what you have to do to get 1 win. And we saw how it worked last year. They looked like they were down and out after losing to Dallas, and then they went on a heater. And it happens 1 game at a time, and that's all you can focus on.
Predators analyst Hal Gill is on with us here on the Chasing Big Joe show. All right, so you know how fans will be sometimes, and they want to see a guy that's going to score a ton of goals or what have you. Luke Schenn's not that guy. Can you kind of explain what Luke Schenn's role is? Because I think he's been an important piece to this team the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, when Luke Schenn is out there, he's got to keep it simple. He's got to he knows his game. He's got to be solid. He has to help his D partner. He's playing with Brady Shea, and he's got to make sure he feels comfortable. The big thing about Luke is when he's on, when you're playing a game against his team, you got to make sure that you don't do anything stupid, and he can be that policeman out there. He's not just a guy that like, oh shoot, I might have to fight this guy if I do something stupid. He's a guy that's like, oh no, I'm going to get hurt if I do something stupid. And he punishes guys. He plays a physical, hard game. When he's out there, you have to be aware of it. And so he brings a lot of that swagger to a team that makes everyone a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, a little bit tougher on his team. So I love what he brings. You don't expect him to go up and dangle, although I do think he has made some moves and makes plays. But he's got a simple game. And, as a defenseman, I appreciate what he does. And I think his teammates, more importantly, appreciate what he does.
Hal, what does it say about the versatility of a player like Cole Smith that, we've seen him in practice skating with guys like Stamkos? I mean, he's one of those like Sissons that I feel like you can plug and play, and maybe he's a little underappreciated. Yeah,
well, I think you can soup up a car and make it look beautiful, like new paint job. You can have all the bells and whistles, new wheels, everything. But you need an engine, and you need an engine that goes and gets that's the bottom line, and every line needs an engine. And I think he can bring that. He can push the pace. He can disrupt. You get in on the forecheck first. You're looking at Stamkos and Marcia. So if they're going in first on the forecheck, that's great. But once they kick it out, who's scoring the goals? Cole Smith is a guy that can go in, be the F1 on the forecheck, and Stamkos and Marcia are ready to score goals, or whoever it is. That's what Cole Smith can do. And so I think every line needs a grinder and an effort guy that goes in and makes things happen, stirs it up a little bit. And so Cole Smith has done that. Defensively responsible. He checks all the boxes. Maybe not the scoring touch, although he gets a ton of chances. And he started to put it together with some confidence. I think it's there, but he certainly disrupts things, and that's what I think the Preds need right now is that disruption. They need to get in and be that relentlessness that they talked about. They need to get to that, and Cole Smith is your guy for that.
Hal, I always love asking you this. What do you need to see the first 5 to 7 minutes of tonight's game from the Preds against Seattle?
I think what I'm missing is that relentless, that battle up the boards, that keep going, that hounding pucks. I think when they're hounding pucks and they get pucks and they possess pucks and they battle for pucks, that's when they're at their best, and that's when they're really hard to play against. So, I'm not worried about the score. I find if you worry about the score, then you're missing the whole part of the game. I just need them to be tenacious on pucks, and when they do get pucks, they need to play fast. Whether it doesn't need to be clean, but they need to be moving pucks up and moving them with speed and pushing. Ultimately get the Kraken on their heels early. I think that's what they need to look at doing.
So you're just attack.
When you don't have the puck, go get the puck. That's the first thing Bruno said. Remember when he got here?
Right.
Like, right. If we don't have the puck, we need to go get the puck. We're not defending. We're going to get the puck. And when we do get the puck, let's keep it. Let's make plays. Let's extend plays. And if we lose it, let's get it back right away. And I think that's what they need to have a little bit more of, a little more urgency in that regard.
Love it.
Real quick, Hal, there's a chance, I think we'll find out morning skate, we could see Juuso Parssinen. What would you be looking for from him if he's in the lineup tonight?
You know what? I think he plays best when he plays with a little bit of an edge. And so if I was him, I might go up there and go out in the first shift and, hit someone, go stick someone, get in someone's face just to get involved. Like you can't play on a perimeter if you're Juuso Parssinen. He needs to be in the interior. He needs to be around the net. And sometimes you have to force yourself to do it. It's kind of a mentality that you're like, okay, I'm in one, like I'm in a battle right now. And sometimes you have to do that on your own. The way the NHL is, maybe no one's going to do that to you. No one's going to come and stick you, but you got to go and get in someone's face and stir it up early, because he needs to be not just physically involved, but like he's got to have that emotional push to be, hey, I'm going to be something to deal with tonight, and it's going to be all night. Every shift over the boards, he's got to contribute. So I look for him to go out and just kind of stir it up a little bit.
Yes, for sure. It'll be a fun one tonight here at Bridgestone Arena. Skillsy, thanks so much as always, and we'll see you tonight.
Sounds good. Enjoy the game, guys.
Absolutely. Hal Gill joins us every Tuesday at 9:30. Of course, you can see him on Valley Sports on TV and hear him on the away games here on radio. Preds fans, don't miss tomorrow night Smashville Live at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs starting at 6 o'clock. You can see your Predators star players up close and personal and also get autographs and pictures. Player guests will be Phil Tomasino and Juuso Parssinen, who we just talked about. Tomorrow night, Brewhouse South in Cool Springs on your home of the Predators, 102.5, 106.3. The game will. You got something?
No,
Okay.
Hal's a handsome guy. I need to check him out over there.
Yeah,
and do all that.
He's a good
those
fellow.
Brewhouse Live events are a lot of fun.
Yes, they are.
Something happened Saturday night that's going to upset the balance of college football. It happened Saturday night, and it is the most ingenious and beautiful things that I've ever seen a coach do. It helped this team win the game, and it's going to be a rule change coming next year. I'm telling you right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was awesome, and we'll talk about it next.
We'll discuss it next here on the Chasing Big Joe Show, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3.
The game.
Tune in to 93.3 FM, Totally Hits, Nashville tonight.
Yeah.
For MTSU football, the Blue Raiders will take on Kennesaw State at Floyd Stadium. Pregame at 5:30 and the kickoff with Chip Walters and Big Joe at 7. MTSU football on 93.3 FM is presented by Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. Chasing Big Joe live at Bridgestone Arena today. Now, you saw something in college football Saturday night. We haven't gotten to talk a lot of college football, so we're going to do that good chunk of the way here. Kevin Ingram joining us at 10:30.
So after the Tennessee-Florida game went off, I switched over to Oregon, Ohio State, and Oregon kicked the field goal. They're up 32-31. Ohio State's driving down the field, and there's like 10 seconds to go, and you watch the wide view, and right before the ball snapped, a couple seconds, Oregon walks out a 12th defender onto the field. Just like he's at Opry Mills. He's just walking out shopping. And so they run the play, they call the flag, and Ohio State throws it all, incomplete pass, and it wastes 4 seconds. It's ingenious because it wastes 4 seconds on the clock, which went from 14 to 10 or 10 to 6, whatever it was. So you took 4 seconds that you don't get back. And then, Ohio State had one more play, they're trying, the quarterback slid, clock runs out, and you wasted those 4 seconds. It worked beautifully. So didn't Vrabel do that with Belichick, something weird in the playoffs?
Yeah, they kept taking the delay of game.
Yeah, which is great.
And then they changed the rule.
rule. So now if you're going there, I'm going to walk out a guy for a penalty, and you're precious seconds in the game. You don't get those back.
Right.
If Ohio State's got the 4 seconds back, they kick a field goal and win the game. They don't. It worked beautifully. Now it can backfire. That's fine. Oregon had nothing to lose. Ohio State's driving down the field, and it happened. There's going to be a rule next year that in the fourth quarter, that when you do that, the time resets. You get the time back on the clock. Now you don't. I can't believe I didn't think about this 40 years ago when I was playing.
Yeah.
I cannot believe a coach has not thought about that before. Go ahead, because you don't get the seconds back. Brilliant move by Dan Lanning in Oregon, which might just help his team win the national championship.
What I think is hilarious is all these loopholes that coaches continue to try and find. And, there are, like, we've seen it in NASCAR for years, right? And they used to joke, it's not cheating, it's fudging.
Right.
It's just, but they'd all find, these loopholes that they could get around. Like I've listened to interviews with Dale Jr. where he's like, "Oh, that car that won at Talladega was so cheated up." Like, I mean, it's just, but that's kind of how it went. Well, football's no different,
right.
With things like that, like Vrabel pulling the same move on Belichick that Belichick pulled for years.
Yeah.
And it finally got changed because Belichick got beat at his own game and got pissed off about it.
It was beautiful.
It was brilliant
to do that. Yep.
Vrabel was absolutely brilliant on that. It's like, just keep taking it. And so
what
I'm curious to see is, as they change rules, what are some other things that they're going to find? Like, they'll find more and more loopholes as we go.
Well, I was watching the Tennessee-Alabama game with some friends. Tennessee-Florida game, and the Florida guy falls down.
Yeah.
Oh, boo, boo. You can't do that. There's going to have to. I'm surprised it's not there yet, that if you go down, you're out the rest of that series. You can't come back in the next play.
Yeah.
Because you get hurt. Chase McCabe's running his high-powered offense up and down the field. There's no time to rest. And you can see the guys fall down, and they fall down.
It happened in the Ole Miss LSU game. And what was so funny about it is it was at the end of the game, right before overtime, and I see the dude for Ole Miss go down, and he's like grabbing his knee, and then you see a player do that, and then he just pops up. He's fine.
So I think there'll be, and again, I'm shocked the rule has not been passed yet, that if you get injured like that as a defensive player, you're out that drive. Then, what it does now, a ref's got to take hold of that and make sure that guy doesn't come back in. So there's a lot of tentacles that go with this, but they're trying to circumvent the rules every which way possible. But Dan Lanning doing that, when I saw that and realized what they were doing, I jumped up. I was like, brilliant. It's just so smart to do that. Because, look, they're probably going to lose anyway. But, if you can somehow pull that and get clocks, precious seconds off the clock, it works out just fine. Now, another rule that's happening, which I cannot believe in my wildest dreams, for all of us who played football in the 70s, 80s, and 90s at the high school, collegiate, I don't know many pro players, but I know a lot of college players. The double jersey number drives me insane. It drives me insane when I help Chip Walters call Chip does such a great job calling the game. But I'm like, all right, who sacked him? Is that 12? Wait, now I've got to look and say, is that 12 offense or defense? What number is it's so? And Alabama's been called for the double number 2 or 3 times this year. Vanderbilt's been called for it 2 or 3 times. How do you not know this? That you got 2 numbers, same numbers on the field?
In some cases, there's special teams. Like you could do,
I guess
you could have like 3 7s on a team. I think.
I don't. Okay, if I go team, how
I love the dude that has to switch jerseys. Like if he
it happens all the time. How adamant or in love with a number are you that you refuse to give it up?
Right. Well, and here's the other thing too. How many guys on a roster? 90.
Yeah.
Last I checked, you could do now. This is where retired numbers get in the way. But like last I checked, you have 1 through 99, or 0 through 99,
Right.
and that you could even bring back 00 if you wanted to.
You can do that.
So like, I just think double numbers are stupid. The NFL hasn't figured it out. Now, granted, they have 53, but but like, you could get it. You could get by without it. And then there's what about like? Do you want somebody to wear 16 at Tennessee? To be completely honest with you, I don't care. Like you're right. Forever until the end of time, if I see 16 on a Tennessee uniform, I'm gonna think Peyton Manning.
Right.
But
I hold the line there. I don't want to see nobody wear 92.
Yeah.
And then
For
who was
Reggie.
the guy that was killed in war? They retired his number 2, and I forget.
Right. There are definitely some exceptions, but I think the retired number thing is a little overdone.
Well, I do like, in the NFL they let receivers start wearing 10 through 19.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the rule is.
Now they can wear single digits.
Now they're single digit, which, it's fine. I love college football. I forget which team it is. Maybe it's Ole Miss. One of their big interior linemen wears number 7, and
I love that.
he's like 6 foot 360.
It just doesn't look right, but it's kind of fun.
It makes me laugh to do that. And quarterbacks are still 0 through 19, although Schuler was 21. I don't.
Wasn't Flutie 20?
22.
22.
I don't know how. What was Jared Lorenzen, 21 or 22 as well?
I think they can wear it.
I should know this, but I wish somebody would text the text line and let me know, so I'm too lazy to Google how you can wear a number in the 20s. I know who was the guy from Michigan that wore 98? Was it Denard Robinson in honor of, was it Mark Harmon's dad?
Maybe.
Someone that played in Michigan in the
Devin
30s,
Garner?
40s?
Devin Garner. That's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, was it 2013 or 14 he did that?
I
night
think you're
game
right.
Yeah, he
I
was
know
the
Notre Dame?
quarterback after Denard Robinson.
Oh, okay. He wore 98, correct? Against Notre Dame in that
Yes.
night game?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So he got a special exemption to do all that. So
But I think it's okay now, because I do think I think there are some quarterbacks that are wearing 20s.
but I don't want to get 1 through 19 is good. 0 through 19 is good.
Yeah.
If you have the exception of Bernie Kosar was 20, wasn't he?
Yeah,
For
I think
the
so.
Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
They became 19 or 18 with the Browns and won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys in 93.
I love that Mariota's wearing 0. That's just so perfect.
Hey, it's 5 years this week when they benched him.
Yeah.
Because it kept in my memories, because he had the pass against Marcus Mariota versus the Broncos in 2019 was the worst performance of a quarterback I'd ever seen in the National Football League. Worse than Carson Wentz. He was awful. And they knew it's like, all right, it's time.
Yeah.
And then they went on just a tear after that.
Coming up next, there is something that's happening,
Uh-oh.
and I think it's going to continue to happen that we may have dismissed and not given enough credit to. We'll discuss that coming up next in college football. Chasing Big Joe, hour number 2, next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We're live today at Bridgestone Arena. Predators in action tonight against the Seattle Kraken. We'll have your chance to win some tickets to see The Price is Right live at T-Pax Jackson Hall on Thursday, October 24th.
Really?
Yeah, it's the traveling one that they do.
Oh man, that'd be a lot of fun. Would you do any good on that? What game show would Chase? You know what? I don't hijack the segment. I apologize. What game show would Chase McCabe
I'm
do
going to
that?
call you Brad.
I'll throw my headset at you.
Yeah, I know you will. I think The Price is Right.
Do you?
Or Family Feud, maybe.
Would you punch that little yodeling thing? That goes up.
Maybe.
So who would you? Family Feud. You know what? All right, we'll table this on down the line because this is a great segment.
Dr. Crane got really excited about this.
The Price is Right, baby.
Would you do well on The Price is Right?
I
I
think
would.
so.
I would do. I think so. I would do awful on Wheel of Fortune.
See, I think I'd do okay on that too.
Because I can't, I'd be like that guy that did it a few months ago that couldn't get he said up the butt, whatever it was. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. The thing.
Yeah.
That'd be because you just reaction, like whatever you say out there and do that. I'd be terrible. I think I'm terrible in that.
Jeopardy, I don't think I do very, very good at.
I would if the subjects were, that's what she said. Titans football history, Vols football history, Nashville traffic, and just being a complete loser. I'd get those. Family Feud. You got to pick 4 people to go on the show with you. Which 4 are you picking? They don't have to. You don't have to be family.
Yeah. Man, that'd be fun. You for sure. I think Dr. Crane would be good. So I mean, the 3 of us
Right.
would do it, and
Music City Bets.
we take Ricky. Yeah,
Yeah.
Music City Bets.
Got to have 1 female.
Probably our friend Ashley.
Okay.
We'd probably throw her in there,
All right. That's good.
and then one more.
That's 5.
Okay.
3 of us, Ricky and Ashley. That's 5.
Yeah.
We should all wear different colored tuxedos.
Yes.
I tell you what, since we are on the subject, callers number, because we didn't do this yesterday either. Caller number 3 and caller number 4 at 615-737-1025. You will win a pair of tickets to see The Price is Right live at T-Pax Jackson Hall on Thursday, October 24th. We will actually have a guest on before the event to talk about The Price is Right. So it'll be kind of fun.
If you had to take
No, it's not Drew Carey. Sorry.
5 living, obviously, Titans, Oilers players, the Family Feud, who do you take?
Oh.
Eddie George is 1.
Eddie,
I'm taking Javon Curse.
Curse.
How about do current 99 through now?
Yeah. I would take Eddie, Javon Curse, Derek.
Let me add one for you.
Okay.
Vanden Bosch.
Van and Bosch, and I'm going to go a little out of left field. Neil O'Donnell,
Okay. Why Neil O'Donnell?
because I think he's wicked smart. I mean, I think
Okay.
he's a smart guy.
That's a pretty good 5. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. I'd go Eddie because I'd try to go ones that you haven't taken yet. So it'd be, I'd want Bullock.
Oh yeah, Bullock's good.
Bullock's a brilliant dude. I think the world of that guy. Gary Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep. Pac-Man. So you got Gary, you got Bullock, Gary,
Pac-Man.
Bullock would keep Pac-Man in line.
Yeah.
So I'm good with those 3 right there. Eugene Amano.
Yeah.
And then David Stewart.
Big
Who-
country.
Who
Yeah.
wouldn't say a word. Like,
Yeah.
David, top 5 answer on the board. Name a restaurant. Bass Pro Shop.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, that's the best.
All right.
Man.
So what I back to college football. That was kind of fun though. There's something that I think we kind of talked about going into this year, but I
Okay.
don't think we gave it a lot of credence. Because what was the big narrative with the 12-team playoff? Oh, the SEC is going to get like 5 or 6 teams in, right? Everybody kind of thought that.
Right.
Well, guess what we didn't factor in?
Vanderbilt.
They're cannibalizing each other.
I
mean, but
think
think
we knew
about it.
this. That's
Think-
why they've expanded to. That's why it's okay for 2 losses now.
Right. But you're not going to get everybody. Like if it keeps happening, like Tennessee, for all practical purposes, should probably have 2 losses,
But they don't.
but they don't. So they live to fight another day, but they've dropped to 11. The only team that I really could see running the table as Texas. Now I know they're going to play Georgia, but I just think they're the best team in the country.
So
right now.
say Georgia goes 9-3, and your losses to Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss. You still get in the playoffs.
No.
This is the problem.
No.
You don't take a 9-3 Georgia team over 11-1 Boise.
You
Well, they
should-
get anyway. I'm sorry, they'll
Yeah.
get anyway. Over a 10-2 Indiana team.
You probably should, but they won't. I don't think.
I think
I don't know. They left Florida. They left the undefeated Florida State out. So I don't know.
I think 3 losses pushes you out. You're done.
Yeah,
And so
I think it depends. It depends on who the losses are to and how close the game was.
and plus, they didn't plan on Vanderbilt beating Alabama. I
right.
mean, you don't plan on that stuff. You're
Yeah,
like, we'll
that
get
wasn't
one
in the
loss.
script.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But like, but okay. To that, let's say that Vanderbilt ends up 9-3. I don't think they get in, but are they going to factor in that? Alabama's one of those wins, and Tennessee or Texas is one of those wins.
I mean, you put a 9-3 Vandy team over, say, 11-1 Illinois team.
I mean, I
don't want to be on that committee.
don't either.
And that's
but
why
but
they're
if
gonna
I'm
go-
being objective and not showing my SEC bias, I probably would put the Vanderbilt team in because they beat Alabama and potentially a Texas or a Tennessee. I don't think they're going to beat Texas, but they've already beaten Alabama. Let's say they lose to Texas, and then they went out. They went out. They
Vandy?
play, and they play
Yeah.
Tennessee here, really, tough and win it in overtime.
If Vandy does Vandy play Georgia? They don't,
No.
do they? So they got Tennessee,
Vandy's got
Texas.
They got Ball State, then at Auburn. Or I'm sorry, they got Ball State, Texas, at Auburn, South Carolina, at LSU, Tennessee.
Ooh. If they run the table, they're in.
They should be.
Can you imagine? I'm sitting there saying that halfway through the season, they're in.
Yeah.
Because you're knocking off. Scroll back up. You're knocking off a top 20, top 15 LSU team, top 15 Tennessee team, number 1 Texas.
Right, which would be 2 victories over the number 1 team
Oh, you're
in
in.
the same year.
You're so.
But again, I don't think that's going to happen.
how do you
but-
know? We don't know they beat Alabama.
Sure.
I'm telling you, man. When they took that opening drive, my friend texted me from Alabama and said, "Uh-oh." I'm like, "Uh-oh." He's like, "They went man to man and mashed Bama down the field. This could be a long day." I'm like,
when the pick 6 was when I was like, oh,
and they did.
they might actually do this.
And you know what's crazy? I saw the confidence. At no time Saturday night did I think Vanderbilt was going to lose that game.
Yeah.
And when I saw the players come off the field after the game and go straight to Clark Lee and hug him and his emotion and his passion for those kids, there's something special over there. And you could berate all the national sports talk hosts you want, which is fine. We all deserve it. But you know what? Not in your mind did you think Vanderbilt was going to beat Alabama. You didn't think it was going to happen.
Nobody thought that.
So good for them. I would love to see them run the table.
So would I.
Could you imagine?
But to the original point, I don't think we're going to see as many SEC teams in the playoff as everybody thought.
I don't know, man.
Because, okay, let's use Alabama. I have no feel on this game this weekend. What I've seen out of Tennessee doesn't give me a lot of confidence, but what I've seen out of Alabama the last 2 weeks doesn't give me a lot of confidence either, because they barely beat South Carolina.
You know what team in this SEC, which is surprisingly getting better and more confident each week?
Besides Vandy,
Besides Vandy.
South Carolina.
Nope.
Who?
LSU.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So here's Alabama's remaining schedule.
Okay.
They're at Tennessee,
Okay.
Missouri at home, then they go to LSU, Mercer, at
What?
Oklahoma,
I shouldn't laugh at Mercer. They're not bad.
at Oklahoma, and then Auburn.
So at Oklahoma, if you lose to Tennessee and LSU, that team's done.
Yeah, they're out.
They're done. Give me LSU's remaining games, if you don't mind.
All right. Let me pull that
This
up.
is fun, people.
But I mean, this is what we're talking. Yeah, LSU. Because Ole Miss is pretty much, they're going to need a miracle now to get in with 2 losses.
That's right.
LSU is at Arkansas this weekend.
Oh, that used to be the end of the season game.
Here's another team that I wouldn't rule out. At Texas A&M,
They're leading the SEC now.
they're playing pretty good football.
They're leading the SEC. All right, so there's
Alabama at home, at Florida, Vanderbilt, and then Oklahoma.
5. They got 6 tough games left.
Yeah.
Those are all.
That's what I'm saying. The SEC could cannibalize itself because the schedule's so tough, and they've gotten rid of divisions, and so you're going to have the top 2 teams play in the SEC championship game.
All right. So do you take a 9-3 LSU team over 11-1 Indiana? I mean, they're going to
Probably
get
based
in.
on that schedule.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, like right now,
that's why Sankey wanted the guarantees.
Right. Like right now, if you go by the top 12, Texas, Oregon, Penn State, which Penn State, I'm telling you, they're going to get exposed.
He's doing that just to piss us off.
I know.
You know, he's just.
But they're going to get exposed.
We talk about. Did he block you when he left town, James Franklin?
I don't think so.
He blocked a lot of us.
Yeah.
Who was the Titans Patriots player that blocked us?
Deion Lewis.
Deion Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, Miami's interesting. I still haven't quite figured Miami out.
That schedule's easy.
Yeah. Alabama, LSU, Iowa State, which they're pretty good. Clemson, Tennessee, Notre Dame. That's the top 12. But Boise's probably going to be the group of 4 or a group of 5 that gets in. So, I mean, Notre Dame has a harder path because they don't get a guaranteed with the conference.
Look at the 5th seed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get there. I mean, they'll put Notre Dame in. You know, they'll put Notre Dame in, and they'll be there. Look, it's the chaos they wanted. I'm not a fan of it. I like the 4 team. In fact, I go back. I like better when we bitched and moaned in the offseason about who should be number 1. That was always fun. But this will be. Is it 12 and 14? I mean, it'll go to 24. It'll be 24 within 3 years. That way you can all cry when you get your butt kicked on a Saturday and you have 3 losses and you get in there. They're not listening to me, and now I have to accept it, which is fine. Doesn't mean I have to like it. It just takes a little something off every Saturday. Like that Bama loss to Vanderbilt would have ruined their season.
5772. Tell me who this guy is a fan of. Kentucky gifted that game to Vanderbilt. Good job beating Stoops, who was trying to find a way out of there. Not impressive. Dude, have you not paid attention the last few years? He has had every opportunity in the world to leave there.
Yeah.
And you want to sit here and say that he's trying to find a way out?
No, he's
That
not.
is asinine. He's not. No, he's not.
He's
had those opportunities, man.
He's the longest tenured coach in the SEC. The fan base
Which is so weird.
Yes, they want this and that. And I get it, but also you're playing in a league that has Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and all that. Look, that was a bad loss for Kentucky. But Vanderbilt was a better team. And, Stoops tested the water. I remember I texted you that night. We had some inside intel.
Yeah.
The night Stoops was going to A&M. And we were like, oh, me, you, and Music City Bets. And I was like, hold on, we got some intel. And it's like, he's not going. Like 30 minutes later, Stoops comes out and says, yeah, I'm not going. I decided to stay Kentucky because he got
Is
the
he going to
backlash.
regret that? Like, is that because
I don't think they would have pulled the plug. I think they would have said no. I don't think they would have taken him. I don't think he would have gone.
Because you know how this works. A guy's stock is through the roof. But eventually, if you keep saying no, they're going to quit asking.
Right.
And so has he made his bed where, I mean, he could stay at Kentucky the rest of his career if he wanted
He's
to.
made a fortune in Kentucky. I mean, you can go. I mean, the Florida job was often mentioned about a destination point for him to do that. But, I mean, NIL's changed everything. It's changed. So you go out and you get the players and try to do better next year. Stoops has it. Look, there's a lot of pressure being an SEC coach anywhere, and I get it. But Stoops has done remarkably well up there. They've just – and I'd be upset, too, if I'm a fan base. That school has never been to the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
Never.
Never. We'll get more of your calls, more of your texts, talking some college football. Kevin Ingram at the bottom of the hour as well. 615-737-1025, our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's Chase and Big Joe live at Bridgestone Arena, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game here on this Tuesday, live at Bridgestone Arena. Predators in action tonight against the Seattle Kraken.
I love talking college football.
Oh, it's the best.
Just love it. It's and this year I think particularly it's been
This year's
because
been fun.
NFL has been so blah that college has been extra spectacular, and I think some of it has to do because of what Vanderbilt's doing for us here.
Yeah, but I mean, like Saturday, for instance, I woke up, I started watching at 11 o'clock and basically watched throughout the day, including laying in bed watching the Colorado game at night.
Did you leave the house at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I left, but everything I did revolved around going and watching college football.
I love it. It's just so much fun. And look, I know we can complain about NIL, how it's changed this and that, but in some ways it's changing for the better because we're talking Iowa State,
Yeah,
Indiana.
right.
Is Indiana still unbeaten? I think they are.
Yeah, 6-0.
So this is fun. This is fun talking about schools.
Here's your undefeated teams in the top 25.
All right.
Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Miami, Iowa State,
Love it.
BYU,
Love it.
Indiana, Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Army, and Navy.
What's Army ranked?
23rd, Navy's 25th.
Love it. Army's in the top. Oh, man.
Army's legit, man.
I saw the quarterback do the stiff arm to a defensive end running the wishbone, and it's so much fun.
Listen to this. So Army has beaten Lehigh 42-7, FAU 24-7, Rice 37-14, Temple 42-14, Tulsa 49-7, and then your buddy Trent Dilfer 44-10.
Yeah. When's he getting fired?
Soon.
Dr. Crane, give us an alert when he gets fired, so I'll be happy.
You
And
got
I don't,
that.
I don't like seeing anybody lose their job.
They,
I don't mind that dude.
dude, the game on November 23rd, Army Notre Dame, that's going to be fun. And that's Notre Dame's I mean, that could be both their seasons. I mean, the Army's trying to find, but Army Navy's going to be fun too if they're both.
If you look at those great pictures of Notre Dame Stadium in the 20s when Notre Dame and Army are playing, there's like 60,000 people there wearing top hats and coats. It's just an amazing, amazing pitch. I love this. I love the fact that
Navy's got to play Notre Dame next week too.
and then just of course Army Navy December
Yeah.
what, the 5th or 6th or whatever it is.
14th.
14th?
Yep.
Oh, that's late. Okay, that's right, because the championship game's later. I think it is a beautiful college football is so unpredictable because remember in the 90s with Houston is run and shoot, run and shoot, run and shoot. That got exposed. Then he went to the fullback, tailback. Alabama ran that in the 90s. Tennessee ran that with Jamal Lewis. That was figured out. Then he went to the spread, and now teams are figuring that out. And now you go back to the wishbone and Army. I remember talking to was it Bob Shoop, talking about how when 17 Tennessee played Georgia Tech, and I said ran the triple option, and I was like, how much easier is it playing Tech week 1 instead of week 7? He's like, we would have lost week 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, I don't care who you are, because you go weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's spread. They're like, oh wait, here guys, here's the option. And the guy's like, huh? What? So you get a whole summer to prepare for the these teams aren't prepared for this.
Yeah.
If you run the option perfectly, it is so hard to stop. Oklahoma did it so well in the 70s and 80s that you need superior athletes, which Miami had, to shut them down in the Orange Bowl to say you can't do this anymore. So I love the fact that those two schools are in the top 25.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. Wes in Hermitage has a comment on Vandy. Wes, what's up?
Oh, first off, Chase, I told myself I wasn't going to talk about football for a week, so I don't even understand how I ended up on the phone here.
Because you love us, that's why.
I'll tell you what, man, I got a Vandy take, I got a Titans take, and I'm sure I'm going to hang up the phone, and there's going to be a lot of people that hate this call.
Okay.
But this is what I'm going to say about it. All right. I think Vanderbilt has a real shot to run the table here. And it's funny because if you talk to all the UT fans, they're talking about Georgia. They think if they get past Georgia, that they're going to the playoffs. Well, I'll tell you the most Tennessee thing about this season that's going to happen is they're probably going to beat Georgia. They're going to win out. Then they're going to see Vanderbilt, and then Vanderbilt's going to keep them from getting in the playoffs. And that's just the most Tennessee typical thing to happen. I couldn't even give you guys my reaction on Monday because I couldn't even get out of the stadium before I posted on social media. I am a firm believer that this Tennessee Titans team, call me crazy, is 4-1 with Diego Pavia behind center. And if you think that
You're crazy.
I know that sounds crazy. Man, look how bad Will Levis is. But you have the ability now where you can go get a right tackle and a quarterback in the offseason and really, really fix some of this stuff. But if Shedeur Sanders, people keep editing him in a Titans uniform. If that's the case, I'm not going back to a game. I can't do it.
Here's the thing. Thanks for the call, Wes. If you draft Shedeur Sanders, you're also drafting Deion Sanders. Just keep that in mind.
You are.
And look, what Diego Pavia is doing in Vanderbilt is awesome. It's fun to watch. I love it. What a fantastic find he was. He's not an NFL quarterback.
No, and that's fine.
And that's okay. He doesn't have to be. He's a good college quarterback, and he's fun to watch.
Let's stop putting these guys into Sunday's team. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, that guy is fun to watch. I
He's got a
watched him last
personality.
year. You know, it's funny. MTSU last year figured him out. They only got 13 points. They figured him out. But from the 15 to the 15, he ran all over the field. So go back and look at MTSU's game last year versus Mexico State, how to stop this guy. I mean, but see him now. Of course, he's got better players around him. He's fun to watch. I mean, the guy, you could just beat him down. He gets back up.
Yeah.
And what did Babe Ruth say? It's hard to beat a man who does what? Never quits.
Yep. 100%. Eric wants to weigh in on Army Navy. Eric, what's up?
Yeah, because you guys were talking about that. I definitely think that's going to be an exciting game. One of those teams could be in the 12-team playoff. But as far as Vanderbilt running the table, guys, I'll say this. If they had not lost to Georgia State, I would agree with you. But that's the problem. That's the one loss that hurts them. But I'll say this. I definitely think they've got an excellent shot at the bowl. I think they'll beat Ball State. I think they'll beat South Carolina. I think they'll beat Auburn. Texas game, I don't know. I think the Tennessee game is 50-50. But I'll also say this. The LSU game, now, what time is that game played? If it's in the afternoon,
We don't.
maybe they got
I
a
think
shot.
it's going to be a night game.
Which game?
If it's a night
LSU.
game, because LSU, since I guess Kelly's been there, they've never lost a night game. Ranked. They've never done that. So
Right.
that's the thing. If that's a night game, I don't like Vandy's chances.
Well,
Especially
Eric,
that
you know what's
crowd.
funny? Eric, real quick, you know what's funny is I want Brian
Yeah.
Kelly to lose, but I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
But
Nobody does.
yeah.
But this football team they're getting better each week after that loss to USC. And you bring that stat up. Holy cow. I mean, I had no idea that was a stat. That's amazing.
Yeah. Somebody said that over the weekend that Brian Kelly, I can't remember whatever, but he's never lost a night game at LSU.
Wow. Their
So,
first
you
time.
know,
for
if
everything.
it's an afternoon game, then maybe you like a chance. But that's just the main reason, because of the fact if they had not lost to Georgia State, I'd probably give them a lot better shot. But I still think they're going to lose at least 1 or 2 more games before the season's over.
Yeah.
I think they'll definitely go to a bowl unless they just have a lot of injuries or something bad happens.
Right.
Guys, good talk to you. Y'all take care and we'll talk to you.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. I'm going to say this, and it may not be popular, but I almost like you want the Georgia State game back, but I almost think they needed to get punched in the mouth like that to kind of wake them up.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, but you look at how they played against Missouri and had an opportunity to win that game. And then obviously what they've done the last 2 weeks. It's almost like they needed that wake-up call.
I agree, man.
And that's how they got to this point. Will, real quick. What's up, Will?
Hey, yes. Speaking to the option, football is all about execution on a one-on-one platform. And, the defensive end is a huge factor in that option and stopping it and forcing it outside or forcing it inside. And the level of play of that individual really changes the entire offensive scheme if you're planning it around an option. And I was just thinking, if you extrapolate that to the Will Levis thing, football is all about being better than the person that you're playing around. And I look at Will Levis and I say, so is that where we're at? Are we looking at a situation with him where we're looking at it and saying, okay, he's just not better? But that's all I got. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks,
Thank
Will.
you.
Appreciate it.
It's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think we're there for sure.
Yep.
Coming up next, we'll talk to our buddy Kevin Ingram, of course, sideline reporter for Vanderbilt and the voice of men's basketball. We will get his thoughts on things with Vanderbilt and much more. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here at Bridgestone Arena today on this Tuesday. Vanderbilt takes on Ball State coming up this weekend on Weston. We say hello to our buddy Kevin Ingram, who is on the line with us. Kevin, I have to start with this. Are there goalposts on the field at First Bank Stadium?
Yes, I can confirm there are goalposts. In fact, I think they replaced both of them, actually, not just the one they tore down, because they had a set of backup goalposts, and so they swapped them out and should be good to go for Saturday.
Are these the kind that lay down so in case, when Vanderbilt beats Texas in a couple of weeks, they can preserve these?
I don't think so. I'd have to go check that. But, yeah, you see some places that have the ones that do fold down. I know Clemson is one of those places. When the game's over, they fold them down, and then at Clemson, everybody goes on the field after every game. But, yeah, I don't think the ones at Vanderbilt are the collapsible kind. So we'll keep an eye on that developing situation.
Something to watch out for sure. So let's talk about this team. Obviously, everybody is going to gravitate towards Diego Pavia. I love watching this kid play. I mean, the tenacity that he brings, he got banged up the other night, came running back in, and you could tell he was feeling it, but was able to help lead the Commodores to victory against Kentucky. What's it been like to be around him?
Oh, he's a lot of fun, and the team definitely feeds off his energy and his toughness and all those things that he's brought transferring in from New Mexico State. Yeah, we were keeping an eye on him the other night. He looked like he hurt his ankle and just wasn't moving around very well. And at one point, he went in the tent to get some medical attention. And one of the funny moments in the game is Jerry Kill, Vanderbilt's assistant coach, came over and opened up the flap and just stuck his head in there. It's like, hey, what's going on? Are you going to be able to come back out pretty soon? And it wasn't a couple minutes later that Pavia was back out and had his chin strap buckled and ready to go. And yeah, it's hard to keep him out of a game very long. I talked to him a little bit after the game was over for our post-game show, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't moving around my best. And I think he was a little disappointed that he threw an interception, which you make it 6 games into the season without throwing a pick. That's pretty darn good, I think. And he really had a good night overall, led the offense. They did what they needed to do. He accounted for close to 200 yards when you combine rushing and passing, and passed for a couple touchdowns. So, yeah, Diego has just been such a huge addition to this program in every phase, in leadership and all the different things that you would expect out of your starting quarterback.
Kevin, I know this is not about you, but how much fun is this being part of the radio crew? And you're around these guys every day. You've been around this program for a long time. You've been in Nashville for a long time. You know what this football team has been through throughout their history. How much fun is watching all this from the sidelines?
Yeah, Joe, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really neat. And, yeah, this is my 16th year of doing sidelines, working on the radio broadcast. And I've worked with Vanderbilt in various things for over 20 years. And, yeah, to see really more happy for everybody else. I just enjoy watching guys that put in such a huge amount of work, men and women on this Vanderbilt staff and everybody involved, just getting the payoff of these wins and the fun times and all the attention and the national attention that you've seen this program receive over the last couple of weeks. It's been really cool. And Clark Lee is such an easy guy to root for. I'm old enough to have worked the games when he was playing at Vanderbilt as a fullback back in the day. So it's fun to see him back and at a place that's so special to him. None of this means more to anyone than it does to Clark Lee. And to see that part is really cool as well. But, yeah, it's fun. And, gosh, you've seen tons and tons of games over the years. And, some have went well and some have been disappointing and heartbreaking. But these last couple of weeks especially have been a lot of fun.
I think a lot of us are still recovering from Woody Woodenhofer's fake punt on the own 10-yard line versus Georgia in 2001. That still hurts me to the core.
Yeah, there have been a lot of moments, a lot of crazy stuff. And, yeah, the days of Woody ball, it's interesting to think about those times back in the late 90s.
They were a lot of fun. You didn't get to see this, Kevin, because you're on the sideline, but you talk about Clark Lee. The guys after the game coming up to him and hugging him after the game, and his just pure love for those kids is palpable. I could feel it through the TV, Kevin, and it is a wonderful thing to watch him right now being so happy for his players.
Yeah, it really is. And I usually get the first interview when the game is over, unless I do something on the field like they did the other night. But, get a chance to talk to him where the emotion's still really raw after the game. And obviously after these 2 big wins, the Alabama game was unbelievable. he comes in there with a game ball, and you can tell he was really feeling the emotions of the moment. And for him, one of the things that I thought was neat after the Alabama game, he said, yeah, when we got to that last kneel down and you're running out the clock, he said, I wish I could just hit pause in that moment and enjoy it a little longer than what you're going to get to before, chaos ensued and everybody ran on the field and the celebration was on. He said, I wish I could just pause it and watch all this for a little bit longer. And the other night, again, after the Kentucky game, I think there was a good feeling that the team came in and took care of business and really had a good week of practice, especially with all the things that were going on after the Alabama game. It's a good problem to have that kind of attention on your program. But Vanderbilt's guys and everybody navigated it really well, whether it was Coach Lee or Diego or the other players that did interviews and things. There were some folks from game day that were out of practice last week, and it's all the things that were going on. They put all that aside and got ready for the game, and it really came out and played well in the game in Lexington.
We're talking to Kevin Ingram, talking some Vanderbilt with him. I think there's something that, you mentioned his name earlier, but Jerry Kill coming in as a consultant and offensive advisor. Obviously, he knows Tim Beck. He knows Diego Pavia. How big of a difference has he made having him here just for Clark Lee, just to have a guy that's done it, been a head coach that he can lean on?
Yeah, Chase, I think it's really been big. And Jerry's relationship with Diego is really important, too. We were jokingly calling him the Diego Pavia whisperer, that he seems to he and Tim Beck sort of know the right buttons to push or the things to say or things that help him stay on course to be successful during games. But I think Jerry just overall, his experience, his intensity, you see those during the games and also during practice. You go out there and just I'm sure a good sounding board for Coach Lee, who's slid over and become the defensive coordinator in addition to the head coach this year. But you think about all the places Jerry Kill has been and all the success he's had in various places. That is gigantic, especially the experience of having coached in a power conference. He's been in Minnesota. He's been all sorts of places. But, yeah, he's really been a huge addition to the coaching staff.
And then I think another thing that I've really noticed is with Clark basically being the defensive coordinator and calling the defense again, do you feel like that has really helped things, maybe even him as a head coach, of kind of having that familiarity of being able to, to call the defensive side of the ball, something that he did so well for so long? I feel like that's made a big difference too.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He just loves it. I mean, he loves coaching defense and calling defense and being hands-on with the players and working with them more closely. And in talking to quite a few of the guys that are on that side of the football, they like it too, having that contact point with Clark to where, he's so involved with what they're doing. And, if you have the speaker in your helmet, you're hearing his voice. I think it's just been a great arrangement all the way around from the players working with him, but also him being back in a comfort zone, coaching defense and designing the schemes and executing all those things every week.
Kevin, before I let you go, look, man, they beat Alabama, number one. If they beat Texas, number one, I told Chase, I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the book of Revelations. Right? Somewhere in there.
Yeah. All I know is we're playing Ball State this week. I don't even know who's next after this. It's one game at a time. I'm just trying to go 1-0 this week.
Oh, no!
Thank you, James.
No!
Appreciate that, James. Good stuff there. Kevin, it's obviously, we wanted to have you on to talk Vanderbilt, but it also yesterday would have been Frankie's birthday, and it's hard to believe that it's been almost a year since we lost Frank Wycheck. Just, what I know you made a post and did some reflection. You spent a lot of time with him and obviously the late, great Mark Howard as well, all those years in morning radio. What's maybe a memory that stands out about working with Frank?
Yeah, it was not lost on me that yesterday was his birthday, and he passed away last, early December of 2023. But, yeah, I've definitely missed those guys. They're such a big part of my life for so long. Did the show with those two for 14 years and worked with Mark for 16. Blaine Bishop was on the show the last couple of years. We did the show and really enjoyed our time working with Blaine. But as far as, Frankie, just such a special part of not only radio, but the Nashville sports community. And he's a terrific player for the Titans for a long time and a Pro Bowl tight end. But I just enjoyed more than the football stuff, I enjoyed talking about the little sort of geeky stuff that we shared because we're pretty much exactly the same age. He's about 2 weeks older than me. Whether it's Star Wars movies or talking about old rock bands or, the stuff that we grew up with, we can certainly relate in those ways. So that was where I felt like I really connected with Frank when I first got to know him, more than just the football part of it, which was obviously a huge part of having him on our show.
It's funny. We did a giveaway a few weeks ago when Metallica announced that they were going to play 2 shows at Nissan Stadium. And the first person I thought of was Frankie, of how he'd be right in the middle of that for both. I can remember he went to a Metallica show and I turn on to listen to you guys. He's got no voice left. I don't know if he had even been to sleep, but that was Frank and or Frankie. I mean, there was Frank, who was the media guy and the former football player, and then there was Frankie that everybody got to know behind the scenes. But
nobody loved Metallica more than Frank. There's no doubt about that, man. He was ready to rock out to those dudes all the time.
No doubt. Kevin, always appreciate the chats with you, and go get them at Ball State or on West End against Ball State.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was talking about Blaine Bishop. That's his alma mater. I saw Blaine at the Titans game the other day, and we were joking around. Blaine's a Ball State grad, and his wife is a Vanderbilt grad. So it's one of those house divided things this week. But, yeah, looking forward to it on Saturday, and appreciate you guys having us on, and really appreciate the radio partnership to carrying our games and all the programming. It's really been cool and special.
Absolutely. Always appreciate it, my friend.
All right. See you guys.
That is Kevin Ingram. He's the sideline reporter for Vanderbilt Radio. And, of course, you can hear that after the Preds game on 102.5. The pregame show will start on 94.9 The Fan, and then it will shift over to 102.5, the game after the Preds on Saturday. And looking forward to that against Ball State. We'll come back, tell you what day it is, and also celebrity birthdays. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hey, join Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Derek Mason at Twin Peaks and Cool Springs this Sunday for the pregame show from 9:30 to 11:30. They'll break down the Week 7 of the Stees, maybe. Thank you. They'll break down the Week 7 matchup against the Bills and give you the latest updates before the game.
Slowest sneeze.
It was delayed. The pregame show is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Sun Deck Nashville, Sloan's Motorcycle ATV, and award-winning Blue Note Juke Joint and Blue Note Crossroads Bourbon. We're live at Bridgestone Arena. DVD coming up next, but first we have to tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have I Love Lucy Day. How about
I love
that?
Lucy. Shout out to Lucy the dog. I
Yep.
know a dog named Lucy who's awesome.
Hey, all right. Shout out Lucy the dog. We also got
15.
that's a good dog right there. We also got let's see, Breast Health Day. So make sure you check out that at the doctor's office.
Yep.
Global Hand Washing Day.
That's always good.
Yep. Let's keep that hygiene up. So flu season. Informational Overload Awareness Day.
That's every day for me.
International Day of Rural Women. So it just shows a woman sitting with
Huh?
two wolves in the middle
Wolves?
of a field. I don't know.
Rural women?
Yeah, rural women. That's correct.
What the hell comes up with this?
I don't know. Let's see. My Mom is a Student Day. That's next.
Okay.
My mom's a teacher.
Hey, maybe she can
No.
teach these people that make these days a few things,
Maybe.
Let's see. National Esthetician Day. National Cheese Curd Day. Big fan of the cheese
I
curd.
do love some cheese curds.
This is a good one. National Chicken Cacciatore Day. Love some chicken cacciatore.
Dr.
A
Crane.
chicken cacciatore.
Dr. Crane, those cheese curds will back you up worse than 440.
Worse than that trade this morning. We also have National Grouch Day. You think of Oscar the Grouch? That's
Or
always
me.
a good one. Or that, yes.
Jared.
Let's see. National Lemon Bar Day. That's next.
Nice.
I'm going to refrain from saying one of these. National Mushroom Day. National Pharmacy Technician Day. National Pug Day.
Oh, I love
National
pugs.
Red Wine. There's a lot of these.
Yeah, we're good.
We like red,
Yeah,
red wine, too.
that's about it. We'll go National Shawarma Day. It's in Canada. It's a type of wrap, chicken wrap. So that's it.
You're the best, buddy. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. First birthday today is celebrity chef Emeril Lagasse. How old is he?
73.
I grew up watching Emeril Lagasse.
Then you should get
76.
this. He's 65. Obviously, you didn't pay attention to him.
Take it up another notch.
Singer Genuine.
Oh, love Genuine.
Name a song.
Pony.
Okay.
53.
50.
54. Chasers up 1-0 on this already. All right, let's go down. Who is this here? Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. All right, some more. The original Alice, Linda Lavin on the TV show. Kiss My Grits.
82.
88.
87. Flo said that, but it was the same show before he texted in. Let's see here. I'm going down. Hold on. Actress Vanessa Marcil she was in 90210. She was Nicolas Cage's wife in The Rock. She's beautiful.
53.
56.
56 exactly. Dr. Crane's up 3-1. Kimberly Schlappman of Little Big Town. I think she's the cute blonde.
46.
42.
55. Fun fact, I went to Sanford with them. But they were told to deny it, like I am. Who else? One more here. Let's see. Singer J.C. Velasquez, Christian singer, lived here in Nashville for a while.
42.
43.
45. Dr. Crane's at 4-1. All right, sports birthdays. Jim Palmer. How old is Jim Palmer? Famous for his underwear commercials and being a 20-game winner for the Orioles.
65.
60.
78. Roscoe Tanner, tennis player, I think from Chattanooga, got beat by Bjorn Borg in Wimbledon in 1980, but he's played at the University of Tennessee. Roscoe Tanner.
70.
73.
72. Dr. Crane's at 5-1. We got 3 left. One of the best football players of all time, recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, Joe Klecko.
72.
70.
71. That's a
push.
push. 2 left. Basketball player Freddie Hoiberg.
67.
60.
52. Last one. Teoscar, whatever, he plays for the Dodgers. That player. What's his name? Martinez?
Teoscar Hernandez?
Hernandez. That's it.
28.
Oh, boy. 26.
32. Dr. Crane, you win 5-1 today, buddy. Congratulations.
Got that. That's the first time since, I think, what, the
High school?
asteroids or something? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Good job, Dr. Crane.
Well
Thank you.
done, buddy.
That's going to do it for us. DVD coming up next.
Yeah, as always, leave our show to our guys out there today. Listen, 988 on your cell phone if you talk to anybody. I know that we love you, and know that if you're going through some dark clouds and dark tunnels, they clear the way out for sunshine and beautiful skies. Know you've got people around you that love you, that depend on you. If something happened to you, you'd be tremendously missed. Know that we love you, and more importantly, that God loves you. We are always here for you. Let's have a great day.
Amen to that. D-May Sven-Gendonic is coming up next here from Bridgestone Arena. Predators cracking tonight. We're back at it at 9.